Hey, this is ASpengler, and today we have another custom vehicle build. It is the Panzer Kampfwagen WWII Panther, and this was just kind of a vehicle I've been wanting to build for a while now. It's just certain popular vehicles like the Tiger, the Panther, and other ones like that. I didn't know if my vehicle building skill level was like, I guess, at that level to try to attempt a vehicle and have it turn out alright and having me like it. So I've been practicing building a lot of other vehicles that you've seen, and so I took a shot at it, tried to make the Panther, and this is how it turned out. I'm fairly satisfied with it. Of course, there are areas I think I could improve on for this, but like the other custom vehicle builds I normally do, I took some time lapses, so let's go ahead and watch those, and then we'll get more in depth into the vehicle. Okay, coming back after those time lapses, right away you probably noticed that a lot of this isn't the same as the time lapses, and there's a lot missing in those time lapses. That's just because with this vehicle there was a lot of trial and error, and I didn't want to really, at least towards the end of it, have there be just me building something, taking it apart, building it again, taking it apart. So that's a lot of what you guys missed. I didn't think you'd want to see me just pulling stuff apart, putting it back together, pulling it apart. And a big thing in those time lapses, I had the double wide tracks that I started off with. After I built the whole chassis, the chassis was looking really good. It's just it was not wide enough, so I went back and re-outfitted it with triple wide. These are the Lego track links, not the Brickmania ones, so I refitted it with the triple wide. I think it looks a lot better with the triple wide, but I still think before with the double wide it was way too skinny. Now I think when I'm thinking with the triple wide it might be a little bit too wide, so maybe eventually I'll make it a little bit smaller. Instead I'll compromise instead. This with the triple wide I made the tank 2 studs wider. I'm thinking I'm just gonna take off 1 stud width and compromise with that. Hope that looks good. And I'm also thinking that it might be a little bit too long, so I might eventually shrink it down a little bit. The one problem with that is there is a certain amount of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, and that's accurate to the actual Panther. It had 8 of its road wheels, and then the 2 main parts for the tracks. But so it's kind of hard to make it a little bit shorter without compromising accuracy with wheels, but I might be able to compensate by shrinking in. There's a few parts in here I probably could shrink it down, and I probably could shrink it down a little bit on the back. So that's just me talking about areas where I think it might be bad, areas that might be able to improve on it. I'm thinking I might want to improve on this, the frontal sloped armor, but other than that I think the turret turned out pretty well. I was puzzled with it for a while, wasn't completely sure, so I looked at other people's designs and kind of copied off a few of them, and then also customized it myself, add my own little custom touches to it here and there. So a big thing, I didn't have the light gray pieces. As you can see, this isn't in light gray, so I decided to make a camo for it. So this is kind of a, I guess, somewhat of an ambush camouflage, but I didn't really go for an accurate actual camo, but it probably falls into a specific real one. So just kind of a forest camo. There's probably a specific name for it, but that's mainly what I did. So there was dark gray, dark tan, brown, dark green, because I had the most dark green tiles. And I think as far as vehicle building, the good greens to use are often the dark green and the olive green. I don't know, I figure that the regular green is kind of just a more really bright green, and it's not one that I typically use in camo, so I used the dark green. And I didn't have a ton of it, but just like the little bits I have really pop out and make it look a lot better. Because if I had not included any green, I think it would have made a pretty big difference in how it looked. So I think the green really adds a nice touch to it. So there's that. As far as some features, you got the front gun, the 2 driver gunner hatches that do open. There's a little bit room for some guys there too. You got, of course, the main turret that does rotate all the way around. The gun does traverse up and down a little bit. Not a ton, but enough to make it look or function decently, I guess. Got the top commander hatch. It doesn't have the round effect that I would have liked to put on, but oh well, I guess that's something I could improve on in the future. We got various extra tracks for detail, other little things here, the grills for exhaust, put some chains on there, string got our back exhaust here. Oh, and one thing that I've never done on my tanks before is, and I attempted on this one because it was a bigger vehicle, I put in my own suspension. So these go up and down, and they also can move partly side to side. So here you can see some of that. So I thought it turned out pretty well. The suspension, it sometimes doesn't work, but I think it serves its purpose pretty well. So you can see that moving. That turned out, well, the suspension was something I thought would be pretty difficult, but in the end it actually turned out really well. So I think the suspension was the thing I was the happiest with how it turned out. So there's that. Another thing, I'll probably hope to use suspension in future tanks and such. So that's a good learning experience. So with that, that's my Panther. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.